Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Age of Culture podcast. Today we got a guest, my guy, Kyle Khendriix Maxwell. How you doing today, brother?
What's Gucci, man? What's up?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great.
Great to hear, bro.
Yep.
Before the podcast, you were saying you were working out. What were you working out today, my man?
Man, I was doing like a HIIT workout. I was doing something. It was like a full body total HIIT workout. That shit had me fucking dead.
Nice. I've read recently from a book that HIIT workouts, which is defined as a high intensity interval training, right? They're even more effective in certain ways at getting like the same amount of muscle, like contraction or like engagement overall, breaking down that muscle as those long workouts.
Right. I mean, I have fucking no idea. I have no idea, man.
He's just fucking doing it.
Yeah. I'm just trying. Man, trust me. I have a lot of friends like in the fitness. Like they take that shit like seriously. So yeah, I'm always asking them. You know, what's something I can do? What stuff I can be eating. Now I'm lucky that I got a lot of friends, and you know, you guys look pretty fucking shredded too. So I'm guessing you guys are in the fitness too. But
yeah, I don't know about that. Lately during quarantine, bro, your boy has been gaining some fat down here, dude. I used to have fucking abs and everything, but now it's like where'd the abs go? You know what I mean? Like, but it's all good, you know. I mean, everyone gets to go off the wagon a little bit.
Hell yeah.
So Lewis, let me tell you how I met Khendriix. All right, so we're all fans of Gary Vee. We know that, and Gary Vee. I saw some of his posts. I told Khendriix this is how I saw him. I saw him on the top comments, and he kept commenting just you know, funny shit or cool shit or just like respect to Gary Vee. And I checked his page out, and that's how I found out about him. How'd you find out about Gary Vee?
Man, it was like I think three years ago. Back when I was in college. I'm not in college anymore, obviously. But it was this one video, you know, I caught him. I'm in the music industry and stuff, you know, I have a label. I work with artists, but back then I wasn't doing any of this. So, but I always had music in my mind. So I just came across one of his videos on my timeline, and he was like, "Yeah, if you're a rapper, you know, he does his fucking shit. Like, if you're not sending your music to 50 million people a day, you're not DMing 5,000 people, Like, he was just going on his tangent about, you know, DMing people and getting seen. And I was like, shit, like, it hit me. I was like, fuck, this dude's right. So after that, man, I was fucking clicked. And I wasn't like a hardcore fan after that, but that just seeing that video and his passion he had in his voice, I could just, you know, you can just tell with people. I'm sure y'all tell with me. You can just tell the people that are, you know, about their shit, and people are just full of shit. And he definitely appeared to someone that's really about their shit. So after that, man, I was a fan. It was kind of off and on, but around like 2018, 19, that's when I really started, you know, consuming his content, and it's had a lot of great benefits on my life and business and et cetera.
You create all your own content, or do you have somebody that helps you?
Dude, every last thing you see on my page is me.
That's so fire, bro.
I know, man. It's crazy because actually, you know, before I started, you know, getting into business and all that, I was a graphic designer, like before anything, like back in 2000.
You were? Okay.
Yeah, like that's all I knew how to do. I wasn't into music. I wasn't into fucking entrepreneurship. I wasn't into anything. I was just a pure graphic designer. So that's how it's working out, because now I don't have to fucking pay anybody for content. I can just do it all myself.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the biggest benefits. I mean, I'm a graphic designer myself. I do all the content on Age of Culture. I do a lot of the templates, the formats, and the content distribution on the platform. And it's been such a fucking incredible help to learn and maneuver all these different Adobe programs, you know, learn what works, what doesn't work with content. I think that's been one of the most beneficial things, and just thinking about me not knowing those things, imagining how much money I would have to spend for certain people to fucking do those fucking that work. It's we've saved a lot of money. Do you know what I mean?
Hell yeah. If you want something, you can just boom, make it. I don't have to fucking talk to anybody, I have to ask anyone. You know, but you know, obviously, you know, as my, you know, career expands and I'm not gonna have fucking time to be doing that stuff, I'm gonna have to call somebody on. But until then, I'm doing this shit myself. I'm stretching the fuck out of myself until I can afford to pay someone full time. That's just how.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do with the music industry and stuff?
So I own a record label, Heart of Music Entertainment. It's a small independent hip hop record label in Maryland. We've been labeled for about almost 4 years now. August for this August will be 4 years into the label, which is ridiculous. Is even saying that.
Nice.
Yeah, I've worked with many artists around the DMV. I've been a part of them. You know, some not major labels, but some popping independent labels. I have a lot of relationships with people in the industry, and right now we're really just trying to push our brand. And our whole goal at the end of the day is I don't know if you guys know much about fucking labels or anything, but
No.
at the end of the day, yeah, we're just trying to. Well, that's why I'm here. So basically, all we are, you guys into sports, right?
Yeah, I'm into sports. I'm into basketball.
All right, so cool. So I don't really know a lot of sports agencies, but we're kind of like how an agency will represent an athlete, like Rock Nation Sports. They'll represent Kevin Durant. They represent players, and they'll get deals. They'll handle all the legal stuff. That's what we do, but with artists. So that's all. That's all. End of the day, that's all record label is. We're just a platform.
How'd you end up getting into it?
How did I end up getting into it, man? It's crazy. Like when people ask me questions like that, I literally have to go through the whole entire story.
You gotta really think about it.
It's a crazy.
We got
crazy
fucking time,
story.
bro. We got time.
It's a crazy story how all of this came together. So I gotta take you back to 2017. Actually, I gotta take you back to when I was born. I just always loved music. That was always, the thing. Everyone has a thing that they don't have to fucking practice. It just comes second nature to them. It just comes. It just comes. Like you just get it, and that's what music was. So I always loved music, and it wasn't until high school, and like it wasn't until high school, 9th grade year, when I started getting in the marching band. I was in a marching band. I started writing like actual, like, not many people in the industry know how to like write actual like music fucking notes. Like I used to do that shit in 9th grade.
Music notes, huh?
Yeah, like the actual shit on the fucking like the sheet, like some Beethoven type shit. Like not many people know how to do that. So that's what I used to do like in high school, and I used to make beats, producing, and it was all just kind of hobbies at the point. It wasn't anything serious. I wasn't like, oh, I'm the next P Diddy. It wasn't anything serious. I just like to do it like as a hobby. But it wasn't until then that's when I went to college. And when I got into college, that was like, I fucking hate school. Let's just get that out of the way. So if there's any questions about college, I'm just telling you that I fucking hate it. But,
all right.
but ultimately,
you and a lot of people, bro.
Yeah, but ultimately, that was like the best decision I ever did, because there is no, I guess there isn't a higher education than fucking school. I guess there isn't. So that's like the highest you can go. So once I seen that, yeah, this is not for me. I was in there. I wasn't eating. I wasn't fucking sleeping. All I was doing was, because they had like a little recording studio in where I used to go, and I didn't go to fucking Princeton. It wasn't like no fucking Ivy League. It was like a ghetto ass like university, like
community college or something.
Yeah, it was a community. It wasn't a community. It was 4 years, but it was like some ghetto thing that your hat could get approved to go there. But but yeah, so all they did was, there was like a little recording studio inside, and I didn't used to go to class. I didn't open up a single book. I didn't buy one. First of all, when they said that the English books itself were $300, I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not fucking doing this. So
yeah,
I didn't go to class. I didn't do anything. I just went to the studio. They had like, and across like a little technology center. I just went to the studio. I was just in there. I was learning how to engineer. I'm pretty sure the other guy, not you, but the other guy, I was learning, sound shit. And I was just, the reason why I went is because I wanted to learn. I wanted to get into I wanted to be a producer. I wanted to get into the music. I was like, shit, I'm good at music. Let me just give it a shot. So I didn't go to class. I just taught myself everything, like Pro Tools. Taught myself.
So you were only in college for like one semester, and you were like, fuck this.
Like one semester, and I was like, screw this.
All right.
And I don't even consider it a semester, because I didn't even, I dropped out like mentally, like in the first, like
right
week.
Away.
Like, so I don't even really consider it that. But ultimately, yeah, that's how I got into music. And there was like a dude that he was like the big man on campus or whatever, and he had his own record label, and he had his own platform, and he helped artists. You'll understand the quotations later. He had his own thing going on, and I was like, shit, like I wanted to be like that, because everyone knew him. He worked with all the big artists. He was he was kind of like what I wanted to do. quotation marks. So, went through college. I taught myself literally everything. Stayed up. I was the first person in the studio, the last person to leave. I was even charging people for studio time, like in college. Like that's like totally on some like illegal shit. Like I was literally using the studio's equipment to charge, artists that lived around the area, and they would come in and I would literally like record for them, and I was like making money. So that's kind of like
hustling them.
That's like that was like my entrepreneurial side.
Let's don't admit to a crime or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I doubt that they're worried about that. But so taught myself everything. After that semester, I was obviously done. And when you asked me the question, so I'm telling you, so it's a long crazy story. So after I was college, I'm trying to condense it as much as I can. So after I left, I had all this information about music and stuff. I'm following this guy, this record label dude, on social media, and I'm like, shit, like I'm trying to be like him. Like fuck, I need to do what he's doing. So I'm trying to do that. And on the back end, I dropped out of college. I'm not working. I don't fucking have anything. I don't got shit. Like I'm fucking broke. I'm like a broke ass, college kid. So my life is like, and by the time I was having a terrible relationship with my brother. We were apart, and my little brother, we were like apart. At the time, my girlfriend, me and her like split. My life was just going all the way down. So this is post college. So this is where the story gets interesting. So I turn into like a full-fledged like thief. Like I turn into like a fucking thief. And I'm just going up. Yeah, I'm hanging around with the wrong people. I'm hanging out with fucking like, I'm thinking that they're not now, but I'm not too sure. But apparently I was hanging around with like Bloods and shit. I had no fucking idea. But we were fucking hanging out. I was doing the wrong things. I was stealing. And it was like petty stuff. Like I would be going into like cafes and like they have like little tip jars.
Yeah.
Like I would be going in there and I would order something, and then when they turn around and make it, I would like reach into the jar and then fucking leave. Like me and my friend used to do that shit. Like that was like our hustle. They used to do some crazy shit, man. This was like in 2017. I was just doing the wrong stuff, wrong stuff. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't think this music shit is the way I'm living and this whole music stuff. Like what am I doing?
It doesn't combine.
Yeah, it's not combining. So, and this time, me and my brother, and we were really close at the time, but something happened where we just kind of split. Maybe because he was, I don't know, we split. This time, me and my girl split, and I'm doing the wrong stuff and
going down the dark path.
Yeah, dark path.
And you recognize it.
Yeah, and I had like the agony of I had like the guilt of my whole family was like, oh, Kyle's going to school. Like they were so proud. They were so proud.
And they still thought you were going to school?
I have no idea. I really don't know. But they just knew that they would always be like, so what you doing now? So what are you doing now they would always be asking. And I think it was like an up in the air thing. I think I never really like said it. I think I was like, oh, maybe I'll go back. I don't know. This is like a long time ago, so I can't really remember. But ultimately, I just had the guilt of, everyone saw me going to school. They thought I was like going to kill it. But on the flip side, even in school, they were proud of me that I was in school. But I was a fucking wreck. I wasn't sleeping. I was depressed. I was going through it. So it's like, why are you praising me that I'm in school, but I'm like a miserable dude? Like it didn't make any sense. That's another reason why I left. But fast forward 2017, this was like the big day that changed. I believe this one day changed everything. So it was me and my friend. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm just gonna call him Steve. Me and Steve. Right. This was we were like thief partners. Like, dude, we used to do some crazy ass shit. Like we were like the petty. Like we didn't even like. I wasn't even doing like big like theft. We were doing like petty theft. Like it was like the pettiest shit like ever. Like stealing fucking like just doing dumb shit. And so this was one day we were outside. You guys have 7-Eleven in Florida?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that was like a global thing, or I don't know if that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, so we were outside 7-Eleven, like at like 10 or like 11, and we were just like, now I can't even fathom it now. Like, what the hell was I doing just standing outside the 7-Eleven, just like not having to do anything, just chilling? What am I doing? And we were sitting out there in the car, and there was like some dude, he was like smoking a cigarette outside the 7-Eleven. He was smoking a cigarette. He was old, but he was like he just looked like he wasn't supposed to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just looked like a loser just
some
outside
like
of
40, 50-year-old dude.
Yeah, like just some, there's like
there.
some bum. And when I seen that, I was like, shit, like something connected. I was like, shit, like the way I'm living right now, like that is gonna be me. And I don't know, man. It was like I seen myself, like he was out of shape. He just looked dirty. He was like smoking. He wasn't doing anything. And while I'm in the car with my friend and we're just sitting there, I'm like, shit, like what I'm doing right now in a couple years
will create your future.
Yeah, that's gonna be me. And my friend, he was in the passenger seat. He was on Snapchat or something. And I was just joking around with him. I was like, man, you see that guy? I'm like, you're gonna end up just like him. I was just fooling around with him. And then he was like, I swear, he said this sentence that just changed everything. Like, I don't know why it did. But when I said that, I was like, yeah, you're going to end up just like him. He said, what did he say? I'm messing it up now. He said, so are you? And I said, he was like, yeah. He was like, nah, you're going to end up like him. And I was like, hell no. I was like, you're going to end up. I was like, hell no. I was like, I said something like confident. I was like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, or something. And then he said, well, you're doing the same thing. Like he said,
you guys are on this. You're on that path.
Yeah, he said he said you're doing the same thing I'm doing. And
exactly.
when he said that, I was like, shit, because I was already thinking it, and then he just said it. He was
like what's the difference between him or I? You thought,
but it's crazy because being someone like myself, I'm so in my head. I'm this, I'm that, I'm so great, but it's like but my actions are not matching my ambitions. You see what I'm saying?
Gotta zoom out of the picture and see, yourself evenly as everybody else, equal as everybody else. And if your actions are not matching your ambitions and that ideology that you have of greatness, then those habits are going to outweigh that ambition. And the habits that are no good are going to lead to that same potentially dark future. What a great story, dude, because that resonates a lot with me. With different, I was in a path of my life that I recognized just as you did. This is not something that, my ambition was, I want to be successful. I want to have a family that I can enjoy with good health. And none of the things that I was doing, smoking so much, sleeping very little, maybe not hanging out with the best crowd, that doesn't really bring you to a path of opportunities. Like, you're not going to get great opportunities if all you're doing is not working on yourself. There's so much work that we got to do on ourselves. It's actually insane. Even if you're on a good path, there's always something new that you find, holy shit, I got to change this about myself. I got to work on a new quality. And it's also work ethic. Work ethic is not something that you build when you're working with your homies or chilling with them at 7-Eleven, or when I was chilling with my homies at Town Center. That's not something that builds work ethic, and work ethic is so damn important.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
I see you're on that.
You hit the nail.
I see you're on that now, which is fucking dope, by the way.
That was a breaking point. After that, I said, fuck this. I'm not hanging out. I stopped. I think we probably went out and did goofy stuff. I think about like 2 or 3 days after that. But just after that day, it was like it just wasn't the same. I was like, screw this. So that's when me and my brother, we got back. Like we had like a fight. I don't know what the hell happened, but we got back, and me and my girl, we got back, and it's crazy. All this stuff started happening. Like I finally just cut that old me away. I finally just threw it away. So then now, still 2017, me and my girl are back. I got my brother back. I'm like, shit, I gotta do something. And then I remember that guy from college, and I was like, I think I'm really ready to start this label thing. So that's when it started, man. That's when it started. Me and my friends. Damn, I left a huge part of the story out. Me and my friend, they had like their own like arcade thing, like in a town near Ocean City. They had like an arcade game of like video games and stuff. So my friends, I had like business owner friends that were like killing it, and all this stuff
with an arcade, just like video games, and people come in and play what they wish.
So just like that. It's not around anymore, but they had their business. And I remember that guy from college, and I was like, you know what? I just got my girl back. me and my brother are good. You know, I'm not hanging out with those people no more. Like I'm ready to start something. Like it was so crazy how it was happening.
And you don't, so I'm assuming from what you're explaining about all of this, you don't have money to start a label. You're just trying to find a way to make it happen.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm really about to get to that.
Everybody needs to hear that right now, because like you started something. You had absolutely nothing to your name, nothing big at least. And bro, like so many people have so many opportunities, are at much better places than you found yourself at, and still are unwilling to, you know, try to, even if they don't have thousands of dollars in the bank, go and figure out a way to make it happen. Just figure it out.
Yeah, everyone is going to listen to this. When I hear people now say, well, I don't know the right people, I don't know this, I don't have this, or I don't have this type of resource. Let's keep in mind, I'm not P. Diddy. I'm not anything big, but you know, I'm doing it, but I'm letting you know right now, you are listening to someone that literally had nothing. I had nothing, like zero. I had nothing, but I only had an idea. So you're listening to someone right now that built a brand off of literally nothing. I didn't get like a crazy, I might get to that story. So my friends that had that business, you know, I'm up at night. I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to start this record label. I'm going to start this record label. And I thought of the name, like at first it was called Rockstar Records, I think. That was the first name. But I was like, that sounds like cliche. So I went to So I went to Heart Music Entertainment. Not Heart of Music Entertainment. So the first name was Heart Music Entertainment. You know, I made the logo. I did all that shit fast as hell. Like, I wasn't trying to start the business. I made all that. I made the name, and that's crazy how I made the logo and I made the name that fast, and I still have it this day. But I was like, shit, how the hell am I gonna start this? So I swear to God, I was a weird character. I kid you not, for 2 weeks, I stayed up, did not sleep for 2 weeks. I was on Google, I was on YouTube. My whole entire room was covered up with notes and stuff. I went ham for 2 weeks and learned the music business. I kid you not, I went freaking ham. I was like, that's all I did. I didn't do anything else. I was on my computer staring at, reading the music business, learning about my business, period. Just learning how everything works. That was the only thing. That was the only time in my life where I was like dedicated towards something. And
you were so laser focused.
It felt so great knowing that, you know, and my other friends are hitting me up like, yo, you trying to chill? Oh, hey, you trying to go hang out? Or you trying to go steal this? I'm like, nah, bro. I had that confidence. I was like, nah, bro, I'm working on something. I'm making something right now. And it just, go ahead.
Oh, Kyle, bro, I know I've been quiet for a little bit, but I've just enjoyed listening to this whole story that you've been putting together, man. It's a beautiful thing to see how people can grow from one point in their life into a whole another chapter. You know, there was a point in your life where you believed that you were going down a dark path, and you realized that there was a time that you needed to change for the better, right? You didn't want to end up being like those type of people, or ended up being like a failure. You wanted to make something of yourself, and it's respectable to see, man. And I'm glad. I just want to say I'm happy.
Thank you, man.
That you are now on this path of bettering yourself, for growth, for happiness, man, and working hard, man. Because when you were describing also, as well as like those weeks that you were just laser focused on something and just continuing that work ethic, like when you find something you truly enjoy and you absolutely love it, man, it's like it doesn't matter how fucking much you work, right? It doesn't feel like work. It's like fucking.
It doesn't feel like work at all.
If you enjoy it enough, you're gonna do it.
Playing a video game, man, it's like it's the most enjoyable thing in the fucking world, man. We're just working all day, bettering yourself, growing this business that you have. It's one of the best feelings that you can have because it's your baby, right? It's your passion, you know. It's an incredible thing to see, Kyle. And I just want to say I congratulate you for not only being in the position you're in now, but figuring out that the path you were on currently wasn't the right path, because that's
previously
it's difficult for a lot of people to get out from that, you know what I mean? It's difficult to find that realization, so it
feels like you're stuck somewhere, right?
Yeah,
like if it might feel like that, and that's also kind of nuts, because it was a place where you were going down a path you didn't even you just in the moment realized that you were not on a great one, but you did a 180. You thought, like, I can actually make something really positive. And that's a very different perspective that not a lot of people would have. I'll say why. Even if you put 100% into something, naturally people realize like, oh, but I could never do that. You know how people might think like, oh, but I can't do that. Even if I work hard on it, like I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's because it's true that even if you put 100% into something, you might fail. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Even if you put in 100%, you might fail. But that's the thing that so many people are not cool with, and they have to get comfortable as it possibly can with that, with failure. Because if you go into something 100% knowing that you might fail, but you still give it your all, then that is a super powerful tactic right there, because you might fail at that shit, but you just gained like a bachelor's degree in like work ethic, and you can take that in failing and take that to the next project. And it's just about not giving up on the long term, bro. People are too short-sighted on so many things these days, and it's important to be looking at the long-term perspective and only do something that you actually enjoy. If you don't enjoy that, you're gonna be dragging yourself out of bed to something you don't like. You know,
Facts.
It's fuck that. I don't want that.
Yeah, man. Like, there's so many people that, I work with now, that I help, build their brands and stuff, and just to hear the things that people say, like expecting to see something, like people will work like 8 hours a day on their dream and then expect something. I can't put my head around it. I don't understand it because
to expect results right away.
Yes. And it's completely insane how people can. I think I'm done talking about myself. I want to get this. Start helping people.
This is the reason we have guests on, bro. You're supposed to talk about yourself. You know what I mean? So it's all good.
Well, I think that's like I think I want to be the guy that changes that. I want to help people. And if I can tell my story, yes, I understand that. But I just don't want to. I'm afraid I don't want to come.
You want to provide something of value for others.
Yeah. So here's the thing. And I'll kind of use a piece of my story. So when I go back to the, going laser focused for 2 weeks, like I think people don't really put that into context. Like, let's say if you want to start if someone listening right now, they want to start a podcast, or they want to start like a business, or they want to start like an apparel brand or something, and they really want to take it somewhere. Like somebody will literally, they would spend 2 weeks thinking about starting it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not doing anything.
They would spend 2 weeks thinking about it, or asking someone. Yeah, I've been thinking about.
I've been thinking about this.
I fucking hate when people say that. I've been thinking about doing this, or I've been trying to start a pot. Like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, what do you like? I seriously, I swear, I did not tell a single soul what the hell I was doing. I just did it. As soon as I had the idea, I was like, no, this is what I'm doing. Screw everything else. I'm not a thief anymore. I'm not hanging out with anyone else. This is exactly what I'm doing. And I fucking did it for 2 weeks. You have to do it. People are trying to think their way into shit. You can't think
or
your way
tell their friends of their plans before they even do it. That's also something that I find it's best to keep to yourself when you're actually starting something. Your biggest plan should be completely personal until you actually make something out of them, because you're going to look goofy if you say you're going to do something to a bunch of people.
You know why people do that?
Why? Because
they don't believe they can do it. They're trying to seek the outside validation. If I tell you, oh yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire, I don't really think that. What I'm really doing, I'm saying this. Do you think I can be a millionaire? That's what I'm asking.
And then if your buddy's like, yes, you can do, but you shouldn't expect others to like give you that kind of like.
I think it's also kind of like you're kind of boasting a little bit, right? You're kind of like putting that idea out there, like, oh yeah, like I'm starting this and that, to make yourself seem like this higher qualified person, when in reality, like you haven't even executed on those practices that you're saying that in the first place. You know what I mean?
And with that in mind, what you just said, Luz, I also want to ask like what you meant about with the quotation marks on that one guy, because it sounds like he was all cap. But first I want to say something. I want to say something before that, because what I mentioned was that people shouldn't do things they don't like, but I can't say that without also saying the other side of it, which is sometimes you gotta do things that you don't like just to build up to do the actual thing that long term you want to do. Short term, it's okay to do things that you don't like. It's okay to if you want to be a surgeon and you hate school, there's no way around school. Like, you got to go to school. You can't learn that on YouTube, right? We've talked about that on the podcast before. Or if you want to, like, you know, get a really shitty job just to make enough money to, like, pay for your apartment and pay for a little bit of food, that's okay. You got to hustle a little bit. You got to eat shit, as Gary Vee says. Like, you got to be able to do that stuff you don't like. I don't want to just put out there to anyone listen thinking like, well, should I only do stuff that I like? That's not realistic as well. You know, that's
that's
the dream.
Some fairy tale land shit. Yeah. So, you know, go back to you know, the quotation marks around that guy. You know, it's crazy how I went from that old mindset of, you know, stealing and taking and not working for anything. Once I started putting in that work, it's crazy how once I started actually doing it right. And, you know, when I started off, I was kind of, you know, copying off of what he was doing. I would see him do something and I would try to do it that way. But, you know, I'm breezing over the years now. Over the years, once I really started putting in that work, and once I started listening, you know, Gary Vee and shit, once I started actually doing it for real, I have a new set of lens now.
You're looking through some new glasses, bro. The whole world looks different.
And I'm looking at this guy and this guy's flexing. He's like always like flexing stuff. He's not helping anybody. He's not. I could just. I'm like, oh damn, this dude I've been looking up to for 2 years is full of shit. He's full of shit. He's a scammer. I'm not gonna put his name out, but that guy's a full out scammer.
It was a nice picture. What you could see outwardly looked nice, but inwardly, the man was on a foundation of quicksand.
I want to bring this into a different conversation as well. It's interesting how people look up to certain people and kind of like chase the idea of a certain individual and aspire to be that certain individual. I think it's okay to have people you idolize, right? I think it's not okay to chase someone as in like I need to be them, you know what I mean? I think
like
it's
chasing
like
someone else's life,
because Gary Vee was honestly one of the main reasons like we started this whole age of culture thing too. I mean, at least for me, it's one of the reasons why I decided to go so hard with the content to grow the following on age of culture and to just try to build the foundation of it really. And it was his words that got me out of a rut of being like just a stoner, kind of like a loser that just didn't really do anything and go up there. But I never wanted to be like Gary Vee, you know what I mean? I wanted to be the best version of myself. He inspired me in so many ways, and that's with other people as well, you know what I mean? There's things like I would take pieces of certain people and be like, wow, that's a cool way to think about it, and that's a cool thing that he's saying. Let me try to use it and try to use that advice to better myself. I don't think I've ever had a person that I was like, I gotta be him, you know what I mean, or I gotta be her. You know, I think that's exactly like because you're never gonna be that individual. There's only one of them. There's only one of you. No one's ever gonna be exactly like you. You know what I mean? So you're just trying to pick pieces away from your inspirations and use that to create a better tool belt for you.
Integrate them into yourself. But if you're trying to be somebody else, you're gonna find yourself very disappointed because you're never gonna be that person.
Right, and especially when you guys don't even share the same values as I share the same values. You know, just if you're looking at someone on social media and they're constantly flexing bottles and they're always in the club and they're basically just selling you a dream, I can guarantee you that person's full of shit. Guarantee you. And that person's trying to emulate that they're some type of big guy or they're doing all this, all that flashing.
They're not even that happy.
They're not.
You're trying to be them.
Happy at all. They're not happy at all. And when I was chasing that, I wasn't happy. I don't like doing all that stuff. You know, I used to, you know, wear Gucci. I used to do. I don't even wear any of that mess anymore. When I was chasing that stuff is not fulfilling at all. You know, I say I have a saying. I say, you know, some people you can have more than someone. You can have more than someone, and somebody can still hate on you. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're handicapped. They're handicapped to happiness. So people like that, people like that need that outside stuff. They can't walk out of the house unless they're wearing diamonds. They can't go to the club unless they're with 10 people. They can't drive a car unless it's a Mercedes. Those people are handicapped to happiness, and they need outside sources. They need stuff. They need stuff to feel important, to look important. so they can go post it on their story and make other people feel less when they push other people down and they pull themselves up. Those people are completely handicapped to happiness, and that's why they will never be happy at all. So, anyone listening right now, that stuff does not make you. A fucking watch doesn't make you. A goddamn pair of glasses doesn't make you. A fucking podcast don't make you. A business don't make you. What makes you at the end of the day is how much people you help and how happy you are with just being yourself, just being completely naked, completely 100% yourself. That is what makes you.
It's a conversation that not many people want to have with themselves. The moment that I had that conversation with myself, it took about 1.5 years or so to really change my life around totally. But like the moment I did start having that conversation with myself, it was on track. But I had the same thing where I was like nothing but rocking Yeezys since I was in this business of reselling sneakers. I was getting high off my own supply, dude. Here I am flipping shoes, and I'm rocking all the Yeezys that I should be selling instead of selling them. I'm spending I had like a $8,000 collection of sneakers, things that I put on my feet. Like, what was I doing, bro?
Wow.
And like everything that I made, I was thinking of ways to spend it instead of ways to save it, maybe invest and grow my assets. I was thinking so short-sighted and hoping that by having all of these things, I would be able to attract people's attention and look successful. But it really, all I was doing was feeding. Let's look at it like this. My life is a bottle. Let's say my life is a bottle. This really nice glass bottle. That thing it is the most beautiful, ornate bottle you have ever seen. But inside it, there is no liquid. You open that up and that shit is empty. That's the kind of life that I was cultivating, that bottle. And the moment I started filling it with good principles, good habits, good lifestyle habit patterns, and good affirmations, that's when everything started to change and I started to fill myself up. That's the best way I can think of it. I think that if anyone listening to this feels like subconsciously they've had that thought to themselves, like, I need to change something, I need to stop hanging out with X person, start having that conversation early on. Life doesn't change like in a second. And I'm not going to say too much else about it because I don't know. I'm not going to talk about like I'm a psychiatrist or something, but definitely.
Yeah.
But it's okay, man. It's like the biggest thing is like, funny enough that those dark paths that each of us have were probably the biggest blessings that could have happened to us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It led us to a better place, and we found that realization through falling on our face, through failing, through being at our darkest moment and realizing that this is a position that I don't want to be in anymore. You know what I mean? And I never feel guilty about who I was before, you know what I mean? Or ever feel like regret, I realize that those moments that I had in the past and those moments I think for you guys as well, it's like, I needed that, you know what I mean? I needed to eat shit. I needed to fucking make mistakes, and I thank God I learned from him, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you got on the other side a better individual and a better person,
Yeah, man. I think everyone needs, I just hope if someone's lost or they don't know where they're at, man, I tell you what, nothing will humble you, nothing will get you more than a wake-up call, man. Just like how I seen that dude smoking a cigarette. Like, I think everyone needs to see their version of that guy smoking the cigarette to just really wake them up. If you're, I don't know, if you're like on drugs or you're smoking weed or you're freaking, I don't know, if you're doing anything, man, like you have to think about yourself. Like, where do you see yourself in the
long
next
term
10 years?
It's different for everyone too.
Term. Like, we have to think about, where do you want to see yourself at? And if you're not asking yourself that question, you're not living right. Because you're living for today.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's hard is to, like, I feel for the people who aren't in any of those really hard positions, because we just talked about like the extremes, all right? Like it's kind of like a blessing almost to be in such a bad place because it can create the biggest turnarounds, right?
Facts.
But there are a lot of people who are just kind of in stagnant points where they're like content. They're happy.
That's the worst.
They're right? Like,
that's the worst.
I'm chilling. I'm fine. It's, I guess, maybe not even realizing that, like, long term it could be, Right, or that long term, it's just not going to lead to anything good.
Yeah, it's different. It's different when you know you're screwing up, but when you're in denial about it, if you're in the middle and you're at the stage where I can stop if I want to, how most addicts say I can stop if I want to, or I can get fit but I want to. When you're in the middle and you don't want to own up to the fact that you're halving, that's the worst place to be in. That's the absolute worst place to be in, because a wake up call might not even save you, because you're gonna be in denial about the wake up call. Being in denial is terrible. I don't have any advice for getting someone out of that, to be honest.
I think it's different for each and every person, man. Like the person that you described as like you looking at the guy with the cigarette is gonna be like you said, it's gonna be different for every individual, right? It's dependent on what time they are. You know what I mean? Like
I hope I run into him.
Oh, dude, that would be cool. That
would be so crazy. Like, bro, you changed my whole entire life. You gotta know who.
Well, I'm sure that would be pretty offensive to him if he.
Yeah, I know. You tell him that, like, thanks, you being a loser helped me. You know what I mean?
Man, thank you so much. I never would want to have your life. You really changed my perspective.
How would you approach that conversation though? Like on the real,
I have no idea. That would be so crazy. That's just crazy. You know, like, it's like how you said, like, that's just so crazy how I believe everything. Like, I believe in God. I'm really religious. I believe everything happened for a reason. And it's crazy, like, that I believe that dude was sent. That dude was sent to just go stand out there and smoke a cigarette. Like, he didn't even know what he was doing. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy how that vision, that seeing him actually brought you to where you're at right now. That's
crazy.
It was like the lighter that like lit up the flame of inspiration within you to go and begin your business and begin this passion-driven lifestyle.
And he had no idea. So that's why it's always important, and not just do it for yourself, but you don't know that the effect that you're having on somebody else. So that guy just smoking a cigarette outside the store, he had no idea that him just smoking that cigarette was creating the next like a world dictator. Like, he had no idea he was doing that. So that's why it's important that you go down the right path, because you're also bringing other people.
You're gonna have positive impacts on others.
Right. When I started, stop hanging out. When I stopped doing that mess, my other friends, they started improving their lives too, because they were copying me. Because I'm like the leader of the group. They were doing everything I was doing. My friend, he stopped. Well, not to bring him up, but he kind of cut back on the stealing. He went and got a job. He got his hair done. He was dressed like he was literally doing everything that I was doing. So when I started, getting all my stuff together, and it's not together now, entrepreneur, your stuff is up, down, left, and right. So just better than it was. When my stuff started getting better than it was, I seen my peers starting to go down the same thing too. My friends start cutting off people. And, everything changes. So that's why it's important, man.
I don't think there's ever a one leader in a friend group. I think it's more like everyone feeds off of themselves, and like it's like the saying, you become who your friends are in a way. It's like your circle of influence is so important. Those people you surround yourself with, your friends, those are going to be the people you're most likely going to be like, because you're going to not even knowingly, you'll take traits from them from like a human behavior perspective,
that's
and
right,
become like them in some sort of way. You know what I mean? So when you start changing habits on your own, you're going to see those habits kind of disperse into like the friend group a little bit. Or if it can't disperse in the friend group, you remove yourself from the friend group, add yourself to a different friend group that is going to then bring out those good those good intentions within you.
And just to say, now those people I was hanging out with, those people I was stealing with, they got kids now, children, in jail, prison, gain a whole bunch of weight. Their lives are done.
Yeah, if they stayed on that same path, if they didn't assimilate any of the good habits that you were starting to employ on yourself, then they stayed stagnant. They didn't go anywhere.
I want to talk about that a little bit. I believe I come from a conservative way on this a little bit, but I do have some sort of like left-leaning ideology in the sense. But I feel like for the most part, you have to. It's up to you as an individual to change your life. You know what I mean? No one else is gonna fucking help you. You know what I mean? No one is gonna like just fucking come out of nowhere, give you their hand and be like, oh, I'm going to save you. You know what I mean? It's all up to you in a sense. You know what I'm
Facts.
like, that's what I'm trying to say. But in a way, it's like, do you think some of these situations with your friends and in certain neighborhoods in certain parts of the country and in the world, just they're born in unfortunate situations that lead them down to a path like this?
Yes and no. So like, just like how you said, everyone has a different situation. Me, like, it's hard because you're asking me. I'm not trying to come off conceited, but I'm just different. So I could be in the middle of a forest and I'm just a different guy. Like I'm way left. Like I'm just a different guy. So I wouldn't be a good example. But other people, like the people I was hanging out with, some people just don't have that. They just don't have that thing in their mind. I can't explain it because this is something that I was born with. And I think everyone has that to a certain degree, to a certain extent. Some are more extreme than others that can go 2 weeks without sleeping and focus on something. And some people have it, they have that same thing, but it just comes in like a lesser version of it. So I think going through stuff like
this
that,
thing that you can't quite put into a word, but let's call it drive. Let's call it drive, conscious drive.
Yeah, everyone has a drive, but it just comes at different, variations. And it has a lot to do with, like how Lewis said, who you're hanging around with. And when I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, so if I can hang around terrible people and turn my whole life around, why can't you do it? So that's how. So that's
almost like being.
So you have a more conservative mindset on that.
Yeah, and I think it has to do a lot with
it's yourself, right?
You're 100% right.
Now let me give you this example that I'm trying to say where I'm a little more left leaning, right? Let's say as a kid, both of my parents end up being like they're fucking drug addicts or they're abusive or something. I live in a bad neighborhood. Like, how am I supposed to, as a kid, grow out of that by being surrounded by like my family who is not only abusive, they're drug addicts, they're losers. Like, how do you come out of it? It's like, are you supposed to just have that drive that instantly comes out of nowhere? Or like, it's difficult because like it's almost
Their
like I wish that we could help them in
chloroformed.
some way. You know what I mean? Because I was so blessed to be born in a situation with a family that loved me, that taught me the right ideologies, the good ideals, and just treat others how you want to be treated. And it's not always like that for a lot of people, man. It's not. Yeah. And for the majority of people, it's not like that. Like I said, you go to a bad neighborhood, you have this kid whose both parents are fucked up, cracked out, abusive or anything like that, and you grow up in that environment. How are you supposed to get out of that in a way? It's like, oh, I just instantly have this drive to get out of it. I understand where you're saying, and like I do have that conservative ideology too, where it's like in a certain proportion it is up to you to get out of that situation. But I almost feel like in that example that I just said now, it's like kind of like unfair for that individual. Like it's difficult for me to see how they could come with that ideology and develop that ideology when they've been born and cultivated their whole life in a situation that was just so unfair to begin with.
Yeah, I believe in that there's the aspect that Khendriix just said, which is that there's a drive in each person that's really unique. It's very different. There's some people are more driven, some people are less driven. And if you have, for whatever reason, that I would, let's call it this, the God-given drive that's within you, that God-given consciousness to decide on your life that certain people have less than others, some have more than others. That's what's going to determine, I believe, whether you actually change your life for the better and make that decision to no longer keep doing those things. Because there's also the aspect of chloroform. You know what chloroform is? I put chloroform on a towel, put it over your nose, and you're going to pass out right away. Now, chloroform, there's a lot of ways in which our lifestyle habits and the people that we surround ourselves with, or the drugs that we take, the food that we eat, all these things can have a very chloroforming effect on the human will and the drive to change. I know that when I eat a fat ass meal and I would smoke a blunt, I would definitely feel chloroformed in the sense that I don't want to do anything creative. No creativity could possibly come out of my person. Now, if you don't have a chloroforming lifestyle or surroundings, then you have more susceptibility to a good drive. So we got to cultivate the things that don't chloroform our consciousness or our creativity.
I feel like, but what do you think on that example that I set forth, though, in that situation?
Well, I think that certain people who, if you're in that lifestyle, I mean, if
as
you're
a
in
kid,
the
you grow
as
up
a
from
kid,
that.
right? Your mom is a crack mom, your dad is too. If you don't have, for whatever reason, this God-given drive that Khendriix had, where he could change his life like that, or that Tony Robbins had. Tony Robbins' mom was, I believe, also a crack mom. Like, she was on drugs. She was like, he was broke. He had no money, right? Tony Robbins has that same drive. Each person has a different drive for whatever reason. If you have a high drive, you could be born into a family of crack parents and still come out of it. Or if for some reason you find something inspiring and you have that drive ignited within you, Khendriix, you didn't even know you had that drive. That man smoking a cigarette, somehow it instilled this drive within you. It awoke. It's almost like maybe we all even have it. It's just the circumstance that comes about that happens to ignite the flame. You didn't know you had it before. But you saw that picture. You saw what you don't want in your life, and then you said,
it's kind of
no
like
longer.
that. It's kind of like that analogy. It's somewhere, I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like, it's like a little cartoon. And it's like a cartoon of the guy, their dad was an alcoholic. And I know someone asked him, why are you an alcoholic? And he said, well, because my dad is. And then there was like another version of it. You guys probably know what I'm talking about.
I
and there's
saw
another
that
one. Yeah. And the guy was like, oh, how come you're not an alcoholic? What did he say? He said, how come you're not an alcoholic? Because my dad's an alcoholic.
Yeah, so one guy, it's a little cartoon. You got a broke man and you got a businessman with a nice ass suit on, okay?
Yeah.
And that what you just said, the broke man, he's homeless, got barely any clothes, and he gets asked this. They both get asked that same question: why are you where you're at right now in your life? And the answer to both of them was, well, my dad was an alcoholic. Here, the guy, for whatever reason, with all these good like drive, he changes his life because he doesn't want what that guy with the cigarette was, next to the 7-Eleven. Whereas the broke man, he didn't have that drive ignited within him for whatever reason. So you can have the same circumstances breed completely different results depending on the person.
So that's really safe to say, circumstances, they don't mean anything. Because it all comes, at the end of the day, how Lewis said, it really just comes down to you as an individual. And, and let's just take it another step further. Not everybody is, everyone can't be, successful. That's why they're successful people. Everyone's not meant to, go make a $1 billion a year. Not everyone's meant to make, 6 figures. Not everyone's meant to be amazing. There are some people on earth that have terrible circumstances and their life is just crappy. That's just the way it is, and we have to accept that. We can't drag it. We can't sell everyone that dream. That it's like how this conversation started. Everyone can do it. Oh, you can try 100% on something, you can still fail. So I think we have to also be okay with the fact that that's why I'm really against people and these stupid coaches on here that are trying to get everyone to get into entrepreneurship. And they're trying to make everyone start a business. Everyone's not meant
Everyone
to
can't be a businessman to 7 figures. It's just
like everyone's not meant to sit in a classroom and listen to some guy lecture them for an hour and a half. Everyone doesn't have the same path. You can't sell a generic dream to everyone.
That part is so important. That part is so important. What you just said. It's not a cookie cutter society. Not everybody is gonna fit to the same exact form of the cookie cutter. Like
exactly.
We can't. And so that's why I think the college system is inherently flawed, because it doesn't tender to like everybody's own person, dude. Like we gotta learn. Life is one of the best teachers. I really think
it's for certain subjects. Like I have this very mixed feeling about college too, because I didn't go initially for a long time, and even still I wouldn't even consider myself as going right now. But like I feel like some people do fit well in that standard. You know what I mean? I think some people do work well in that environment where they're just books like every single day. Different classes, homework, all that shit. You know what I mean? Learning a certain subject. I think some people are good with that.
Not saying it doesn't
a good
work.
amount of people. You know what I mean? It just depends on who you are. And like I know. Personally, for me, I don't know if you've listened to this podcast. Like I've told that story about me not going to college and everything like that, and like I have mixed feelings about it because I know people who've gone to college and are just really happy with it and have gotten out of that. I've gotten out of a bad situation because of college. You know what I mean? So it depends on what you really want in life, what you want to study, what you want to pursue.
Exactly. Exactly. It depends on what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do. People that try to push everyone to go, it's like that's not for everyone. Just like how the military isn't for everybody, just like how being a doctor is not for everyone. Like let's stop putting school on us like an imaginary like throne, and let's think about what school does. You're going to school because you want to do what? You want to have a nice career. You want to be a doctor. You want to be a lawyer. You want to be a teacher. So let's stop putting the focus on school, and let's put the focus on what comes out of it. So let's stop saying school's not meant for everyone. Let's start saying that being a doctor is not for everybody. Let's start saying that being a teacher, that's not for everyone. Let's say not everyone's meant to go to the military. Not everyone's meant to go to the avenues in which school sends you. School doesn't send you that many damn avenues. You're either teaching something or you're, I don't even know. I'm not even in school like that. School that's not really that diverse. There's only like a couple things that you really have to go to school to do. Like I don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to school to flip sneakers and stuff. And you're making a great living off of that. You don't have to go to school for that. I don't have to go to school to start. I mean, yeah, I could, study music business and the law. I could do all that. But we have fucking YouTube. We have Google. We have YouTube. We have different things now. And I think
in other words, we don't have to push people to do anything, including entrepreneurship, including school. It's more of a very personal thing that they should ask themselves in under my circumstances, what is the best decision for me? And we just have to let people make a decision, like learn how to make decisions more, because it's
in school teaches you to do the complete opposite.
Yeah, school
not make your own decisions.
We're talking about not just college, but we're talking about the school system in general, pointing you towards you kind of have to go to college. That's the next step. Right. Not that you shouldn't go to college. I mean, of course, it's like if you want to go to college for getting a certain job, then excellent. Like, all the power to you. The only thing I think, at least I'm saying, is not everybody needs college. Not everybody needs any X thing.
Especially
it's a decision.
If people that are getting sent to college for just blindly being sent, they gotta start paying attention. All the biggest corporations now, Google, IBM, Apple, all the biggest corporations are not
requiring a college degree.
It's just a matter of time before that gets down all the way to freaking Walmart. And by the time you don't know who the hell needs a degree to work at Walmart. So if the biggest corporations at all have the audacity to not ask for a degree, what the hell? What gives a smaller corporation, smaller than Google, smaller than Alphabet, or smaller than Apple, what the hell gives them the audacity to ask for a degree? It's just a matter of time before in the next 5 or 10 years, a degree it's not going to mean anything. Because at the end of the day, people are just trading off of brands.
Possible.
Schools are brands.
It is a brand. I don't know how long it'll take, but at the very least, our school system will have a change.
I think there'll still be a place for school. I would think that would be like a huge fucking crazy situation where there's absolutely no school. I think the education system will change, not only with like how people are being taught, like we're talking about here. I think it's more going to be focused on what you want to do and how you want to pursue it, right? Is this the best option for you? You know what I mean? Is school the best avenue to pursue that career that you want? You know what I mean? So it's all looking at all those different things. And I'm not going to ever say, like I said, don't go to school, don't do this, it's terrible. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it fits some people.
If you can
it doesn't
afford
fit
it.
other people, you know?
If you have like a great scholarship, if you can afford it, if you have like $300,000 just to go blow on an education, then by all means, go do your thing. But if you're someone in the middle, lower class, and you're looking at school as like some heaven that can get you to like some next level, but you're not 100% sure on it, and you're not 100% knowing where you want to go, like they're gonna sell you a dream. Like they can I compare college to a club. I compare those two to a club a lot. So when you go into a club, they can charge your ass $100 for a bottle in a club because you're in a club.
Yeah.
It's so much stuff going around. There's so much things going around. You're not focusing on everything tactically that you're spending money on. So they can charge you $100 for a freaking bottle. They can charge you $1,000, $2,000 for a table, just like how they charge you $10,000 for, or probably more than that, for tuition. It's all trading off of the brand of the club, and every club can't charge that much. every club can't charge, the biggest club in Florida where you're at, they can't charge like a little shitty club in the corner of Florida can. So that's why I'm saying they're all trading off of brands. If you're an employer, I'm coming to you and I say, yeah, I got my degree from Harvard Business School online, but the person that came after me, they had their business degree from Princeton, but they actually went there. I can guarantee you that the person that actually went to Princeton is going to get that job opposed to the person that went to Harvard Business School online, because they're trading off of brands. At the end of the day, that's the only thing that the colleges are going to be able to have to trade off of.
I don't know the difference between the brand of Princeton or Harvard, but
yeah, but wait a second. Do they even say if you graduated online or not? I think they don't.
I don't think they say that.
I think it's just a degree that's saying if I graduated from Harvard, I don't think they give a fuck if it was online or it's not online.
The diploma's not going to say Harvard University online in quotation marks. They're not going to fuck you like that. but like I want to look, like if you want to be a manager at Goldman Sachs Bank or at Citibank, you're not going to do it without a college degree. So
facts.
Really, bro, like you got to just do what floats your boat, make decisions. But that's the thing, bro. I know that school didn't teach me how to make decisions. I had to learn how to make decisions on my own or through my parents. And yeah, dude, that's pretty much it for me. I think dude, an hour flew by already.
Damn, son. Yeah, bro. Well, it was a pleasure, man. Kyle, thank you again so much for hopping in on the podcast. It was a damn pleasure to hear your story, to put yourself out there. And I think this was one of the most like rawest podcasts we've had. I mean, it was very interesting how we dove into those issues, man. And this is part of the episode where if you have anything you'd like to promote, anything you'd like to put out there, bro, let us know what's going on in your life, dude.
All right. So I have a thing coming up called Not Giving a Fuck About What People Think. So this is a great event I'm having. It's called Not Giving a Fuck. So all you have to do is wake up in the morning, and as soon as someone gives you their opinion, right? As soon as someone gives you their opinion, or they say you don't like, or they don't like this, or they say, oh, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should do that, you should not give a fuck. That's it.
Solid event.
Where can we find you on Instagram, my man?
You guys can find me on Instagram at IDGAF. I'm just kidding. You guys can find me on Instagram at KHENDRIIX. Khendriix.
Sounds good, dude. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you everyone for listening.
Hey, man, no problem.
Thank you, my man.
Appreciate you. Thank you everyone for listening to the podcast. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We got podcasts coming out every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for all of you guys. So we're pumping out this content to make sure you guys are entertained. And thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you tomorrow? No, Saturday? Maybe the next day?
Black
I don't
Lives
know
Matter.
This is going up. But yeah, we'll catch you then. All right. Any last words, Leonardo?
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter,
Black
bro.
Lives Matter.
Go and vote, man.
Let's go
and vote.